Mullen has only 2 weeks left to their first delivery as they send 500 I-Go vehicles to Newgate Motor Group. So should you buy the stock? Stay focused as we go through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for regular stock market updates. Mullen had received sales rights for the I-Go in the European market about a month ago, and a partnership was announced with the Newgate Motor Group to sell the Mullen I-Go in 2 countries. The first batch of 500 vehicles will be delivered on 20th December, but investors are losing hope. One investor complained that he mails the team asking that if their products are innovative and futuristic, why don't they get big corporations or governments to back them financially instead of diluting shareholders? Regardless, bulls are buying more and more as the price drops, hoping for a reversal soon. With all that in mind, let's analyze the chart. So as you guys can see right here now in the 1-day chart for MULN, and as always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get to the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, we're down 0.67%. And why did this happen? Well, first up, we do have news, right? Well, where did the news go? I'm sorry. David Missouri has received 28 million shares of MULN stock as an achievement gift, pretty much, right? He didn't have to pay anything for that. And out of that, he gifted about 3 million shares, I believe, to an individual whose identity, of course, he's not liable to expose, right? He doesn't have to tell who is gifting the shares to. And if I'm not wrong, all the way back in June, right? From June to all the way till this current date, right? It's 6th December right now. I believe that he has gifted about 39 million shares to individuals, of course, whose identities have not been disclosed. So is this a red sign? Well, if you ask me, not really, but well, it seems like it is for some investors, right? At the same time, if we talk about the price action, we can see that we did get a red candle, a big red candle that was pin bar over here. After that, and somewhat of an inside candle over here, right? A pin bar on the upside. But at the same time, we go, kind of followed it up with a red candle. And of course, that massive red candle, which we got yesterday, has been followed up by another smaller, which is, well, it's smaller right now, but I believe that it can expand, right? Another red candle. Now, at the same time, there have been speculations about the stock and how it can hit even the 10-cent level in the in the future, which I personally, well, I wouldn't be too surprised if it were to hit that, but I don't really think it will go all the way down there, right? That would indicate pretty much another 50% downfall, and we're down currently to 0.82%. So that's of course not a good thing. But if you ask me, well, there are two ways to look at it, right? This is, of course, a concerning situation for all investors, right? But at the same time, we do have to look at two situations, or rather two sides of the story. First up, of course, David, right? No matter how he leads the company, short sellers will spread FUD, short sellers will continue to make sure that the stock goes down, right? That's, of course, one way to consider, one way to look at things. At the same time, we have to look at the actual reality, right? At the end of the day, we will have to face the reality. And what is the reality? Well, with the reverse split and the dilution, both of those things planned, I don't really see where the stock is headed, right? We're down 1.28%, just to remind you, and I don't really see where the stock is headed, right? If you ask me, a good way would have been to kind of get some funding for the company, of course, and then go on to build a vehicle. But, if you ask me, the stock, or rather the company, which already has a market cap of 98 million, and a company that has a $100 million market cap, not being able to build a single vehicle is, well, I won't say it's fishy, but it's, of course, a bit depressing, right? It's a bit saddening. It does make me a bit sad, a bit disappointed. And, I won't exactly call myself bullish at the moment, right? I was bullish in the past, at least until yesterday, right? I was bullish. But looking at this new thing that Missionary received 28 million shares, and well, he gifted some of that to someone, that doesn't concern me. But at the same time, considering the fact that he has so many shares himself and he just continues to dilute his shareholders, is just a bit sad, I would say. At the same time, do I think the stock might go up? Well, there of course is a possibility, right? We will get 500 I-Go vehicles delivered on 20th December. What's left to see is how much will the company make from it? Because of course, if the vehicle is priced around the $13,000 and $14,000 range, which I believe it is, right? I should be right on that. I made a video. I can't really forget things that quickly, right? I shouldn't forget things that quickly. But anyways, coming back to the video, um, out of the $14,000, or even let's just round it off to $10,000, even if it was priced at $10,000, how much would he make out of it, right? Even if it was priced at $15,000, how much would MULN make out of that? And if we're talking about 500 vehicles, right? 500, excuse my handwriting of some sort, my mouse writing, right? And if we multiply that to, let's say, even if we make $1,000 on each vehicle, right? Well, that's $100. Then we get another zero. If we make $1,000 on each vehicle, right? We still only make about $500,000, right? And for a company that big, $500,000 is honestly not that great of an amount, right? Of course, if you're selling vehicles, 500 vehicles for even $10,000, right? That's $5 million, and that is a good revenue, right? But that has to be coupled up with something else. I personally think that, once we get the ELMS thing, and of course, if we can continue selling the I-Go at that same rate, right, we'll have to get that to monthly rate, right? We'll have to get a monthly rate where we're getting at least a $5 million revenue every single month, and then I believe MULN can really go up, right? So until we hit that, well, I won't say that I'm bearish on the stock, right? I will still take out time to look and buy with the money that that I'm willing to lose, that I can afford to lose. So of course, if it goes down to 10 cents, well, I will be buying, right? Because that's again a good upside, right? That's a good risk to take in my opinion. At the same time, for those of you who are kind of new to investing and trading, I do believe that you should not touch the stock because it's definitely not something that I'd want someone to get their hands on as a beginner to kind of get the experience, right? This is not the experience that you need while starting out. So you should probably focus on some other growth stocks or some more stable stocks. But for those of you who've been in the game for a long time, you can go all the way in if you want, right? You can take all of the risks you want. It's up to you. And at the same time, if we talk about an extended timeline, if we talk about 5 years or 10 years, right? Now, some might debate that they don't even see MULN existing 10 years down the drain or 10 years down the line. I don't know why I said drain, but some say that they don't even see that MULN will exist all the way down in 2030. But I personally think that it might, right? With the ELMS acquisition, I can assure you, I won't assure you, but I can assure myself at least that they're not trying to end this off in a bad way, right? They're most definitely working, but where will the company head? I can't really say anything about that. We're down 1.64%. We were down 1.9% just a minute ago. We'll probably go down further. But if you ask me, the stock going down is not that big of a problem to me personally. Of course, for those of you who've been holding for a long time and have gone down by like 50%, 60%, or even 90%, some of you are down like 99%, and that's like really, I can feel your pain. But at the same time, for me personally, right, I think that this company is something more than technical analysis, right? They're definitely something similar to a meme stock. I won't exactly call it a meme stock, but it's similar to some of the other stocks like MMAT or, for example, AMC even, right? Even though that was a short squeeze play, but at the same time, I do feel like MULN, once the shorts start to cover up, will go up as well, right? So shorts will play an important role in the stock. And, at the same time, I do feel like, as I already told you, once we start getting the ELMS commercial vehicles out there, we should be able to get back on our feet. And, at the same time, I think that, as I already told you, a monthly revenue of at least, $5 million is required for MULN to get back on its feet, if you ask me, right? Once we get a yearly revenue of like 50, $100 million, that's when I think, or rather, that's when I see MULN getting back into the $1 range, which is really crucial for the company. But of course, with that being said, we'll have to jump on into the 1 hour chart. Enough with the blabbering, let's get back into the analysis. And now that we're in the 1 hour chart, let me zoom out a bit. We can see that we did get a pin bar on the lower side over here. Not exactly a pin bar, but something like that, right? A pin bar over here. This is a pin bar candle, right? Followed by a red candle. So of course that indicated a bearish trend, right? Two red candles, one pin bar in between. That's a bearish trend right there, right? So we've gone down by about 4% ever since that pattern was, we saw that pattern. And of course, we did get a pin bar on the upside, but it was followed by a red candle, so that kind of got discarded. If you ask me what's going to happen right now, well, I believe that as we can see right here, we got supported around the 19-cent range. Will we drop below it? Probably yes. Right? I don't really get a, I'm not really getting a good gut feeling from this today. So we might drop below that. And even if we do, where is the next support? Well, we do have another support around 18.4, right? That's a bit lower than I expected, right? But at the same time, well, it's cool, right? We do have a support at 18.4. I believe we'll have another support around 18.15 as well, right? So that should be good. That should be enough, but the stock might fall even further below than that, right? Which of course is not a good thing. At the same time, I do not believe there's much left to analyze in the 1 hour chart. So we'll have to jump on into the main details, and that of course lie in the 5-minute chart. And now that we're in the 5-minute chart, we'll just analyze today's performance because I believe that the video is already pretty long, right? Over here, let me quickly erase all of these drawings. We can see that we've only seen negative price action today, but let me quickly get the extended trading hours so we can see what exactly happened in the pre-market. Right, on the pre-market, we can see that, well, first up, we were in a gap up, but that does not seem to have worked out, right? That did not work out. We all went pretty much all the way around the 20-cent range. We got resisted there, fell down sharply, right? And we ended up opening in, I won't exactly call this a gap down. Well, it is pretty much a gap down as compared to the, the aftermarket price of yesterday's trading session. So currently, we're kind of forming a, or rather an inside candle. Yes, we did form an inside candle over here. We should get increased volatility in this candle if you ask me, right? Whether it's on the upside or on the lower side. Of course, I do not think it will be on the upside because of the current price action, right? It's rather bearish, and we're continuing with the previous trend that we set, right? Of course, we set a bearish trend, and now we seem to be continuing with that. And of course, we don't go all the way, we won't go all the way down to 18 cents today, but I believe that we might be in for a bad red day today. With that, of course, am I bullish on the stock? For the long term, I do see there, that there is a possibility for the stock to go up. I do believe that there is a possibility for the company to go up, right? For the company to turn profitable, turn into a money-making machine. But at the same time, I do think it's only good for those of you who can tolerate risks, because there is a huge risk, right? If we look at the past performance, we can see that the stock was once valued at like $100 or something, right? So that, of course, is not a good thing. We've fallen down by like 99.9% by then, right? All the way up until this date. And as you guys can see, increased volume, I already told you that, right? Not exactly increased volume, but increased selling pressure. Whenever you get an inside candle like this one, let me just quickly explain this and then we'll end it off, right? Whenever you get an inside candle where, of course, let me explain what an inside candle is first. An inside candle is when you get a candle where the body is smaller than both of the wicks. So the wick on the upside and the wick on the lower side, both of them are bigger than the body itself. And the body, of course, we can see that it was pretty small, and it kind of squeezed in at this price range between 19.2 cents and 19.9 19 cents. That's very small, and that is what you call an inside candle. It indicates that selling and buying pressure are matching up, and that's why the price doesn't move. At the same time, coming back to the main point, am I bullish on the stock? Not necessarily. In the long term, sure, there is a possibility that it will go up like crazy, even hitting like 50x 100 or 100x numbers. But currently, I do think there is a good time to buy, right? There is a good opportunity for buying for those of you who want to get in the stock. But at the same time, I don't think it's a good option to trade the stock because of, it's of course really volatile. So again, it's up to you. If you're a risk tolerant investor, go for it. I personally have some shares of this. I can't disclose at what price I bought and how many bought, but of course, I did get some under the 20-cent range. So well, I'm all prepared for the big rally if it were to ever come up. And at the same time, remember that this most definitely is not financial advice and I could be completely wrong. So you should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.